Hello, hello, hello. What's up, Foxies? Welcome on down to the Foxhole. I'm your host, Bruce Fox, and thanks for joining in with me today. Go ahead and make sure you like and subscribe so you guys do not miss any of the latest updates. So, hello. This episode was definitely unplanned. You're probably wondering, like, what is with the green? Was with the three leaf clover back there? It's because I missed a crucial social aspect of the 3 months of no alcohol in my last episode. And I want to mention this because it's basically the main foundation of where I began to get a real sense of who like my real friends are, who values my friendship, and who I want to surround myself with. And I do want to make it very clear before I go on. I'm not going to name drop, or I'm going to try my best not to name drop or anything, but I want to make it very, very, very clear that I have no issues, no ill will, no bad blood to anybody, that may be brought up in this episode by any means. If I never see or talk to any of these people again, I wish, you guys nothing but success and nothing but the best. I think there just becomes a certain time and, people's life, in this case, my life, where I needed to remove myself from a certain environment so I can grow. I was definitely ready to grow. And in order to do that, I had just to remove myself from not only environment, but a toxic one at that. And not to say everybody was toxic with the people I was hanging out by any means. Everybody, including me, I'm toxic to somebody. I don't know who that is. I definitely don't know who that is, but I'm probably some toxic to somebody out there. And I was just in an environment that was, at the time toxic for me because I was trying to grow. So, like I said, I wish no ill will, have no bad blood for anybody that I may bring up in this episode. And this whole thing started 1 month into my sobriety of no alcohol. So, like I mentioned before, my last day drinking was February 18th. So, February 19th is the official date. This happened on March 17th, which happens to be my birthday, St. Patrick's Day. So, as you guys know, obviously I was not drinking on my birthday. And for a fun fact, I don't know if I've actually ever told anyone this at all. If I did, it probably was one person. Maybe if I did, it's probably my friend Lindsay, my best friend Lindsay. So I was originally going to wait until after my birthday to stop drinking, because my birthday is St. Patrick's Day. It's such a drinking holiday. Everybody likes to drink on St. Patrick's Day. That's what I've always known. Since I started drinking, in college. Bunch of cities throw a bunch of parades and big parties for St. Patrick's Day. Chicago is definitely my favorite place to go for St. Patrick's Day. I've been there a few times for my birthday and had just the time of my life. When I was in college in Pittsburgh, they threw an awesome St. Patrick's Day parade and party, but nothing beats Chicago, hands down. So if you've never been to Chicago for St. Patrick's Day, go. It's so cool. They dye the whole, lake green, and then just every city or every city in Chicago is just popping. It's so much fun. There's just green everywhere. But I was originally going to wait until after, my birthday to stop drinking. When I was thinking about it, in November, December, January. But I decided it has to be February because I had those two incidents I was telling you guys about in previous episodes where I was going through heartbreak, and I had that incident with me throwing up not only outside of my car, but in my car and on myself, which was just like basically like I need to stop now. And the thing is, like, drinking is such a part of American culture where like there's always going to be another, event, to drink. So like around that time in my case, like I had my friend's birthday coming up. I'm like, yeah, we're probably going to drink. And then my cousins were coming in for the Super Bowl. I was like, yeah, I'm going to drink. And then then my birthday's coming up, going to drink. But I'm like, I just can't keep on doing this because there's always going to be that event that comes up. So I'm just like, just need to stop in February. So that's that if you did not know. So my birthday, this is the itinerary for my birthday. My plan was to go to a brunch at 18 Ben and then go to this place called Rebar, which is another bar, and end at another one of my favorite bars, Corduroy, which is downtown, like on Fremont Street. And everyone drank besides me, at this point. So I wanted to make sure like some kind of, alcohol was involved. I didn't want to have like, a dry birthday. And I was basically just thinking about like everyone, but myself. And I also did have like kind of like a slight fear that, maybe nobody will come to my birthday if it was like a dry birthday. Like I knew like my, two closest best friends would, but like I wanted, everybody involved that I was, friends with and hanging out with. And I'm like, the only way to probably do that is to go to, a bar. And I just know the people I was hanging out with. I know some of them would have been a little bit like, NC about like if I had a dry birthday. But if it comes to that, those people aren't your friends, and a lot of those people are no longer in my life. But so that was the itinerary: 18 Ben, another bar, Rebar, and then another bar, Corduroy. So 18 Ben is just like an inside bar restaurant. It's real cute, and on the weekends they have a DJ, and they were having a St. Patrick's Day party. So I'm like, that would be cute to go to. It's right around the corner from my house, yada yada yada. And so 18 Ben was an invite only brunch. I wanted it to be small. I wanted it to be, intimate. So the only people that were, invited were my brother, two of my best friends, and a bunch of 6 or 7 other friends that I was, close with for the past few years. And then, so invite only. I think there was a total of maybe, let's see, there's like 10 or 11 people there. So it started off so much fun. Like 18 Ben overall was a lot of fun. DJ was popping. Conversations were great. People, had just started drinking. This was probably around like noon. It was either noon or 1 o'clock. I think our reservation was. Everything was great. And then I did have one friend show up like an hour late, and he brought a +1. Again, this is invite only. So I was a bit disappointed about, my friend bringing in a +1. Not only did he bring a +1, he was late, an hour late to, my birthday. You just don't come late to somebody's birthday with like no, good excuse if you're a real friend. And, I knew the reason that they were late is because they were out all night the night before, and also pre-gaming, to come to the brunch. And it showed when they got there because they were just so drunk. And I wanted it to be intimate and personal, where there wasn't like a bunch of drinking going on, where everybody can just be, social. And it just kind of ruined like the whole intimacy of the brunch. So thankfully that they got there like an hour late. So they were kind of at the tail end. So like, it sucked that they were late, but also it was a good thing because they were drunk. But I do remember being kind of like disappointed that not only a +1 was brought, but, they just came in just like so drunk and kind of threw, the vibe off. But overall, like 18 Ben was great. The conversation was great. My best friend Lindsay surprised me with one of my favorite desserts, you swirl, and then everybody saying happy birthday to me. Everything was great. 18 Ben was good. So then we walked over to Rebar, which is like not even half a mile away. It's like a 5 minute walk, not bad at all, in the Arts District of Las Vegas. And Rebar was good. A few more people showed up. We interacted with people that we knew, we saw there. That was all good. And yeah, overall, like everybody's still drinking. Besides me. I mean, it was cool. Somebody did like buy me like a bucket of some 0% alcohol. It looked like, I think it was like hot beer or something like that. Some kind of like 0% like beer, whatever. Brought it like in a bucket. And I thought that was cool, to make me feel like included and kind of like I was like drinking, so I didn't feel like isolated. So I thought that was pretty cool. So 18 bin rebar was good, and then this is when like the real shift happened. Is when we got to corduroy. So at this point, we're probably going on maybe like 3 hours, 3.5 hours into the day. I want to say we were at 18 bin for about an hour and a half, because I'm pretty sure the mimosa limit was like an hour and a half or 2 hours. And then we spent like an hour at Rebar. So I want to say we're probably 3.5 hours into being at corduroy. And like I said, this is when the shift happened. Everyone was at this point, so drunk, obviously outside of me. The first hour we were there, everything was okay. For the most part, people start to, really show up at corduroy. My friends started to invite their friends, and their friends were inviting their friends. And I want to say, like, if you guys have ever been to corduroy, if you like live in Las Vegas, and I know I brought some of my friends there. A lot of my friends that come, I bring there to Boozy Bingo. So Boozy Bingo is a place where corduroy is. So corduroy has like this outside patio, and literally like we took up the whole outside patio. I want to say there was like 30 people, I want to say there, on the between the outside patio and when you kind of just come into the bar, that everybody was there, for my birthday. So it was a bit like little like overwhelming, because I really didn't like know any of them, but we'll get to that in a second. But like, as I was saying, like all of a sudden, I really just felt like it was no longer my birthday at all. And that was my 35th birthday. So like at that time, like out of my 34 years of having birthdays, I've never felt like it wasn't like my birthday. Like I felt like it was my birthday at 18 bin, and I felt like it was for the most part at Rebar, but towards the tail end, I kind of felt like, are we actually celebrating my birthday, or like, no? But I definitely like felt like it was not my birthday, at corduroy, and I've never felt that way before at all. And one of my best friends, Lindsay, she had to leave after we went to after we left Rebar, and then another one of my close friends had left probably like 15, 20 minutes into corduroy, which left my other best friend Jess. She stayed for quite a while. She was able to stay. So I talked to her a lot at corduroy, because I feel like a lot of people were just really like isolated from me. But yeah, like I said, like I just felt like it really wasn't like my birthday. And at that moment, like I remember like just being inside with Jess and thinking like, those people are all out here on the patio, and a few of them like are inside, but like they're not here like for my birthday. They're not here to like celebrate, another year, on this earth. They're here just to drink. And, that kind of like made me like feel, some type of way. Like there's a few people that, came up to me and said like, happy birthday, and I was saying, thanks. But for the most part, a lot of people like didn't. And eventually I did go out like on the patio. I went out on the patio like several times to, conversate. But this is kind of towards the end. But I went out on the patio and started to conversate with people. And I just remember just like getting nowhere with like anybody, because like I don't know any of these people really like at all. I've seen them before. I met a few of them before, but like all at the bar. Like I had nothing in common with these people. Like I've had very, very short conversations with, some of the people, but like they never go anywhere because we have nothing in common. The only thing we have in common is drinking. So like trying to get something out of people or them try to get something out of me. And at this point, like everybody's drunk. So it's just hard to like pay attention to people. Cause like if you're like, sober, not drinking, and you're around a bunch of people that are drinking, it becomes a little much. And, we'll continue to get into that, as we dive deep into this, sobriety of no alcohol. But one time I was out on the patio, I remember my friend coming up to me and he said, "Hey, Bruce, like, look at all these people that are here for your birthday. Do you want to get a picture with everybody?" And I remember just saying, like, "No, like, it's fine." He's like, "Are you sure? Like, it's pretty cool that everybody's here for you." And I was like, "No, it's fine. Like, I don't really need a picture or whatever." And he said, "Oh, okay." And then, like, at that moment, like, I said no is because, like, these people weren't here for my birthday. Like, they were here because they were invited, from people that, were my friends. Or, some of them were friends, other friends. Some of them were like, hookup buddies. Like, it was just a lot. It's just people like I just didn't know. So I'm like, I don't want a picture with these people. Like if I want a picture, it's probably with only like 3-4 other people that actually consider like, my friends. Like I want to look back at this moment and have a memory to, cherish forever. Like had I like taken that picture of those 30 people and I look back at it like, next year on my birthday or further down the road, I'm just like, I don't know any of these people. Like, who the fuck are these people? Like, I don't know them at all. Like, I only know, like, really probably like 5 to 6 people out of those, like, 30 people that were there. So I'm like, in my head, I was just like, fuck no, I don't want a fucking picture with these people, like, at all. Yeah, because I just didn't know them. And there's been so many times, too, where, like, some of those people, and, like, I'm even trying to think like I don't even know half their people's more than half of their names, but there's been so many people so many times I did see these people like at the bar and I said hi to them and try to create conversation with them, and they were just like didn't want to have a conversation with me. So like once like I noticed that, like that was just like my mood for the rest of the time. I like any interaction I saw them, I'm just not gonna have any conversation with them, no interaction, because like they kind of shoved me to the side one time. So I don't want to bother them again. Like that's just how like my brain operates. Like I don't have time or energy for that. And I'll see you in passing. That's fine. I'll either ignore you or I might give you a little hi and then we'll keep it pushing. Like I don't got time for the bullshit and the fakeness. Like that's not me like at all. So yeah, so like that was kind of the whole story from, that day, my birthday. Um, like I said, I just really at that moment started to realize and get a sense of like who like my, true friends were. Like I knew like 2 or 3 other people there, my closest, my best friends, were my friends, but like outside of that, people that like I met at the bar and people that I've been hanging out with, the past few years outside of my, closest friends, I'm like, are these really, my friends or not? And I at that day was kind of the start, kind of the foundation of, when I'm sober and just kind of realizing like, hey, like maybe these people like aren't my friends. Because I had mentioned to you guys either on the first or second episode that I had been watching a bunch of YouTube videos about what happens like when people no longer drink, in a sense kind of like what I'm doing here. And one of the common things like each person said in those videos were like, you're going to lose friends. And I was just like, no, it's not going to happen to me. And like the first 3 months, were pretty cool. Like I still, had my friends, people were still hanging out with me and I was still going out at this point. Obviously not drinking, but I remember thinking like that's not going to happen to me, and we'll get to how that all wound up later down the road. But I wanted to make sure I brought this particular day up because it definitely becomes a crucial part of my story of sobriety going forward. So definitely remember the story. My birthday. I felt like it wasn't my birthday at a certain point. The first part was great, and then the back end was I mean, it was still fun. Like my friends were still there, but I just felt like it just wasn't my birthday. And you're supposed to feel like it's your birthday, like on your birthday. It's your special day, and you're supposed to feel like $1,000,000. And at one point in time on my birthday, I didn't feel like $1,000,000. Towards the tail end. So definitely remember that for sure. And then we're going to continue to get into life of no alcohol going on 6 months. So thank you for joining in. Oh yeah, so this outfit, let me show it to you. So this is what I wore for my birthday last year. I wanted to wear this episode because I really wanted to like tap into that day. But yeah, so thanks for listening in to this, I guess, special March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. My birthday is coming up. Today is Wednesday. It's next Monday, so I can't wait for that. But thanks for listening, and make sure you guys like and subscribe so you guys do not miss any updates. And then I will see you Foxies all next week. You guys have a good day. It is hot up in here. What's up, Foxies? Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And be sure to follow me on social media at TheFoxHolePod. See you next time.